What happens if you become incapacitated or die? Will your loved ones know how to contact family members, make medical decisions for you, pay the monthly bills, take care of your banking, contact your insurance companies, locate your important documents, or know where your assets are? Will their grief be amplified by their lack of knowledge about how to handle your personal affairs? Do you love them enough to prepare the information they will need?
Mark, as an accountant, how often do you see couples come in where one partner handles all the finances in the family?
Very often. There's typically one spouse that's in the dark financially.
Now, what does this mean when a couple ages and they want to look ahead in case, one of them passes away and perhaps the financial burden falls on the spouse who never handled anything? What are some tips to prepare for that moment?
So it's really important to have both spouses meet and talk about these things. So number one, do you have a will? If you have a will, is it up to date? Do you have powers of attorney? Do you have powers of attorney for financial and for mental capacity? What insurance policies do you have? Do you need more insurance? Should you cut back your insurance? Where are the policies? Really important is what assets you have. A lot of spouses don't necessarily inform their less financial spouse about all the assets they have, so they should discuss in detail what assets they have. And if you have assets, your cash under the mattress, or you have an asset you never wanted to tell your spouse about and only your friend knows, make sure your friend knows to tell your spouse.
Is the theme of this little talk you're having, what happens if I'm not here anymore to handle all the money?
Exactly. It's just worst case scenario, what happens, where is everything? Don't have hide and seek on where the assets are.
So this should actually be a stress reliever when a spouse passes. You'll deal with the emotional and psychological burden, but at least the finances will be somewhat in order.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Welcome.
Mark, I'm putting together an in case I die file so that my spouse will know where all our financial affairs are in case the worst happens. What should go in my file? Okay,
so I consider there's two pieces to that. A hard copy, that's a detailed listing of everything you have, bank accounts numbers, investment accounts, the investment account number, safety deposit box. Then on a secondary, you would have actually a hard file that would be your insurance policies, powers of attorneys, and wills.
So I got to put a bit of work into this. I have to inventory basically every financial account and every financial relationship we have as a couple.
Yeah, and that's very important. Your spouse is going to be distraught if you pass. You don't want them having to deal with financial details and look for assets that you have no idea where they are. So it's vitally important to make it easy for them.
Now, would I want to put down contact information for all the people I deal with, perhaps my financial advisor or insurance person, the person I deal with at the bank?
Yeah, that's a great point. So you want your accountant, lawyer, banker, insurance agent, but more importantly, what you would really want to do is try and introduce your spouse to these people while you're alive. So God forbid you die, they then have a familiarity with those people.
It sounds like putting together this file is a good chance to review the comprehensiveness of your estate planning. Like, do I have an up-to-date will? Is my power of attorney up to date?
Exactly, and that's part of the idea of this. It brings everything up to date. You review this once every couple of years, and then you're set.
That's great. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
How do I get started organizing my personal affairs? First, don't get overwhelmed or discouraged by the size of the task. Take your time, work at your own pace. First, get an empty cardboard box. Take your time and find all of your important papers. Place all the papers in your cardboard box. After you've collected your important documents, stack them into a pile. Measure the height of the stack so you know what size 3-ring binder you need to buy. Punch holes in all your documents. Buy the appropriate sized 3-ring binder. Buy a sufficient quantity of 3-ring binder index dividers. Prepare inserts for the divider tabs. Section 1 of your personal affairs binder includes vital statistics. In this section of your binder, include a list of you, your children, your parents, grandparents, previous spouses, living and dead, with the following information: their names, current addresses and phone numbers, their relationship to you, their place of birth, their status, married, single, alive, or died on a specific date, social security numbers if known, copies of birth, death, marriage certificates, and divorce decrees. Section 2 of your binder includes personal property information. In this section include the deeds, titles, proof of ownership, leases, loans, or other documents for homes and properties, cars, boats, RVs, etc. For insurance purposes, include a list and pictures of your valuable assets such as furniture, TVs, computers and pianos, jewelry, artwork, appliances and tools, cars, boats, RVs, etc. The next section of your binder includes a summary of your assets. Include in this section a spreadsheet summarizing all your financial assets. Include account numbers, maturity dates, usernames, passwords, and challenge questions for online access. Medical insurance. In this section, include a list of all your health insurance policies with the following information: company names, addresses and phone numbers, copies of health and dental policies, copies of insurance cards, copies of prescription cards, usernames, passwords, challenge questions for online account access, lists of doctors, copies of medical records and medical history. The next section of your binder is for life insurance. In this section, include a list of all your life insurance policies with the following information: company names, addresses and phone numbers, agent names, addresses and phone numbers, copies of life insurance policies, explanations of benefits upon death, usernames, passwords, challenge questions for online account access. The next section of your binder is for car insurance. In this section, include a list of all your car insurance policies with the following information: company names, addresses and phone numbers, agent names, addresses and phone numbers, copies of car insurance policies, explanations of benefits such as deductibles, towing, etc., and usernames, passwords, challenge questions for online account access. The next section in your binder is for home insurance. In this section, include a list of your home insurance policies with the following information: company names, addresses and phone numbers, agent names, addresses and phone numbers, copies of your home insurance policy, explanation of benefits, deductibles, etc., and usernames, passwords, challenge questions for online account access. The next section of your binder is for banking and checking. In this section, provide the following: a list of all bank names, addresses, phone numbers, and account numbers, all usernames, passwords, and challenge questions for online account access, and list any deposits or withdrawals that are automatically deducted from your accounts. The next section of your binder is for credit cards. In this section, provide the following: a list of all credit cards including company names, addresses, phone numbers, and account numbers, usernames, passwords, and challenge questions for online account access, and a list of any recurring bills that are automatically paid via your credit cards. The next section of your binder is for retirement plans. In this section, provide the following: a list of all retirement plans you are either depositing money into or receiving payments from. Also, usernames, passwords, and challenge questions for online account access, and include Social Security numbers for all family members. The next section is for your sources of income. List the names, addresses, phone numbers, account numbers, etc. of all organizations from which you are receiving regular payments, such as employers, Social Security, pensions, alimony, annuities, investments, etc. The next section is for estate documents. In this section, include all your estate planning documents such as revocable trust, last will and testament, pour-over will, advance directives, also known as living wills, HIPAA medical information release forms, durable power of attorney, etc. Next is your investments. In this section, include a list of all your investment holders, contact and account information for your IRAs, 401k, SEP or KEO accounts, mutual funds, brokerage accounts, annuities, stock dividends, bonds, etc. Next is a list of your employers. In this section, include information for all current and previous employers, including company names, contact information, dates of employment, pension, 401k, stock, insurance, or other benefit plans you participated in. This is important information for your heirs in case you have dormant or inactive benefits you may be entitled to. Next, your debts. In this section, provide a list of all your current debts. Include the following: company names, contact information, what the debt is for, the amount of the debt, the interest rate, when payments are due, and how payments are made. Next, tax returns. If you have space, you may want to keep a copy of last year's federal and state income tax returns. If you don't have space, at least list where copies of your annual income tax returns can be found. Recurring bills. In this section, provide a list of all recurring bills, including approximate amounts and when payments are due. Miscellaneous. In this section, place all your documents that don't logically fit in any other section of your binder, such as legal judgments, church records, certificates, genealogical records, your desires regarding organ donation, funeral, cemetery, and burial instructions, your desires regarding who will inherit specific items in your estate. Now that your dividers are finished, sort all your documents into the appropriate sections of your personal affairs binder. Now that the first edition of your personal affairs binder is finished, you still have two important items remaining. First, keep your binder updated when you open or close an account, change a username or password, get married or divorced, have a child, your spouse dies, you change jobs, you retire, you move, or you add or cancel a credit card. Finally, tell your spouse, a family member, a trusted friend or neighbor where you keep your personal affairs binder in case you become incapacitated or die. Remember, When disaster strikes, the time to prepare has passed.